Hello and welcome to Windy City Wargaming Battle Reports. I'm your host Mike, and here with me is my good friend James. James, how you doing?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
Oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
In the wonderful year of 2019, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, picking up where we left off with the aspirations of weekly battle reports. Yeah, it's going to go great. We should just take a brief break, come back strong, maybe somewhere around March 2020 after you're done with some of the school stuff, right?
Oh, God. Yeah. Nothing bad happened there, right?
No.
Whew. Well, anyway, on that uplifting note, today we have for you a battle report between Khymaera and Old Umbrey. But I should probably say before we get into it, viewers who aren't familiar with you, James, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm James. I'm playing out of Chicago now, but I started in the Seattle area, and I've been playing since 2012, but not competently.
You never want to play competently.
Confidently, but not competently.
And this guy actually got me into Warmachine way back in Mark III, and we've been playing pretty regularly since, off and on there.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's exciting to try to kind of get back into this, especially like on the eve of the first lock and load back too. Feels like a lot of resurgences, you know?
So really, like, one of the best times to get into Warmachine, I think.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of reason to have that enthusiasm. It's great.
All right, and so today I am bringing Lylyth, Raven Vengeance. Lylyth is one of my favorite sculpts, and she brings a lot of power herself. Only one rack spell, which I racked Silence of Death. In her battle group, I have a Khymaerix, a Hydrix, and a Vipex with Hunter's Mark on it. Belagul is there, and Pythia for an Arc Node. Belagul is there always for Enrage, healing, Fury Management. He does it all. It's wonderful. The Shadowmancer Scion is always a staple with Lylyth because that Puppet Master has saved me many times with that run and gun trigger. With that, I have a Paragon for some extra warping winds besides Lylyth herself, a unit of Knights, unit of Death Dealers, and a unit of Lashers. And finally wrapping it all up with a unit of Shadowmancers to hopefully keep a little fury off my trike for that sweet, sweet arcane negation. For cards, I brought Blessing of the Gods, Duck and Cover, Hit and Run, Lucky Penny, and Old Faithful. James, what did you bring for us with the new Old Umbrey?
A couple of bad hombres. So I brought Olysia Reznikova, Mistress of the Thorns. I think this was my first game with her. Second game, maybe? It was early. It was fun. I was excited. But I brought her with a Primeval that had the bear head, so you can't push me around, a bone sword, so I can go punch God, and an enchanted shield to hold up against some attacks and make use of that sweet Thorns feat. Also, I got a Strix and the Starved. Both of those beasts are pretty good with output and utility. Kind of a decent blend of both. Alongside them, I've got two Animists to fuel corpses and add boons or heal if I need to. An Urson Champion, Veroni, because you need Veroni. A unit of Liegeman Hunters. 2 units of Liegeman Ursons. A unit of Liegeman Wardens, so all the Liegemen. And 2 units of Shearlings with the goats, because goats are good. And I love them. And it's why I bought into the faction.
Would you say that unit is the GOAT?
No.
The greatest of all time. Okay, anyway, what else do you bring?
Yeah, so I also brought the Blessing of the Gods card, Hit and Run, Lucky Penny, Old Faithful, and Put the Fires Out. Old Faithful is the real GOAT.
And for terrain at this table, we have, starting in the top left, under the red flag there, we have a hill. In the middle, a forest, obstruction over to the right. Coming down the middle, below the obstruction, we got a hill. Smack dab in the middle of the table, another forest. To the left of that, we have a dust devil and a burning cloud. Below that, in the bottom left, we have a section of tall grass, another obstruction, and a third obstruction, along with some scatter walls in the middle there. And we have another forest. And finally, in the bottom right, we have just a plain old regular cloud.
This terrain is all on top of the scenario Trench Warfare, marked by the 2 50mm objectives on either side, as well as 2 flags. You've got the 2 caches in the center there, as well as two 40s kind of central at each player's, just in front of each player's deployment zone. The 50s and 40s, your friendly 50s and 40s, are going to grant cover to all your 30 and 40 millimeter models, and the flags can't be scored by friendly models, something important to remember that a lot of people seem to forget.
I won the role to go first, and so I started deploying with the trike. I always want to think about where the Khymaera is going to start off. And looking at the two flanks, I didn't want to go right behind the forest because with that -2 speed feat, I kind of lose some of that ability to, burst through the forest to get some damage done. So I had to pick either side, and on the top we had that Dust Devil, plus we had the actual wall there that is not scatter, so I couldn't remove it with the Khymaera. So putting the trike in the Dust Devil felt like a bad thing because then it would be -3 range to all of its many range attacks that it has. So instead I kind of popped it on the bottom, and with that I brought a couple support stuff. I had the unit of Knights to kind of screen for it. I had Bellicool fairly central, Hunter's Mark, Vipex fairly central. So on the top, instead I put the Hydrix, and I felt that the Hydrix being only def 12 could really benefit from the +2 defense while inside the Dust Devil. And then, of course, I had two units on the top there to hopefully either contest his ambushing unit that he's got to mess with my flag, or kind of maybe jam up the front line. And then I flipped over to you, and you started your deployment.
I did, and I did not put nearly as much thought into it. So I deployed relatively symmetrically, with the major variance being the presence of Veroni and the Wardens kind of in the bottom half there. The Animus are alongside both of those, with the champion in the back towards the top, ready to give precision strike. The reason why I've got the Liegeman Wardens and the Animus and Veroni kind of clustered like that is your first turn is almost always going to be activate Animist 1, kill one of your dudes, see what kind of party supplies are inside, activate Animus 2, repeat the process, add it to Veroni, and then Veroni is going to go give the party favors to somebody else. So hopefully with that process, then I can activate Veroni, quickly dump off the corpses to the Primeval there. So that's why the Primeval's right next to Veroni. And then we've got the Starved relatively central. I'm not sure where I want to put him yet, but I know he's going to be more of a utility piece. Otherwise, we've got the Bears ready to either fortify the center or spread out to the flanks, depending on what Mike does and what kind of game he wants to play. I'm not too used to going against Lylyth, so I just wanted to make sure that I could play the flanks if I needed to.
All right, so starting with turn one here, my first thought is I want the Hydrix to be really projecting that range threat. It's got two of the Venom Spitters, so I run my 11 inches down, and then the plan is to have Lylyth then slipstream it forward to really get an extra 2 inches of threat to his backline. Old Umbrey has a lot of key support pieces, and if you can snipe those out early, it's a huge win, or huge swing towards your benefit there. So from there, I activate Lylyth, and her one upkeep of Silence of Death goes on the Knights. I believe I arced through the Vipex to just get that extra range there. And then I'm quickly realizing that those bears project a lot of threat on their own. With the large base leapfrog, and even though it's only a 6-inch spray, they're speed, speed 7, speed 8? I think they're speed 8. So with that leapfrog and the 6-inch spray, they can really do a lot of damage downrange. So I just make sure that I'm out of any major danger zones. I move Lylyth, slipstream the Hydrix forward a little bit, just get that extra little bit of threat. And then the next thought I have is I want those Lashers to really jam up the bears. Lashers are fairly high defense themselves, and with a little feat, I can drop the bears down to Rat 4. And so if I can jam them up with the Lashers, then I can really kind of make it so they have to commit melee to killing those Lashers. Plus, I took the Isle of Sight head on the Khymaera, which gives me force barrier to put on them, really effectively making them defense 18, which is pretty good. I put the Death Dealers over by the hill, so if he does ambush them in, they can go and mess up whoever ambushes up. From there, I bring the Knights over to the other flank, seeing if maybe I can get them to hop over the wall, but that was just a little bit too far. And I know that Lylyth has Warping Winds out for the Lashers, but I want to keep the Warping Winds up over on the right flank with the Paragon. Bringing those bear sprays down to range 3 is the goal. I did put Science of Death earlier on the Knights because I know that they are going to be going in first, and they don't need a lot of support from my caster to do so. So if I can activate them, that will then allow me to cycle Science of Death over to perhaps the Lashers or the Trike or something else that could benefit from it. So I always think what unit is going to be going in first, and that's why I put Silence of Death on at the beginning to hopefully get a nice cycle going. From there, I kind of move the Paragon up to really drop those, put everybody in Warping Winds range. I move that the Hunter's Mark Vipex more towards the middle of the field. And I get my Pythia within 5 inches of Lylyth for the Arcane Assist. Finally, Belagul moves up just to be within 9 inches, and I flip the clock over to you, James.
All right. So I'm going to spend far too much time pointing at things and stroking my beard, wondering where I went wrong. And I'm a little bit nervous, right? Because I don't want to give anything up. I don't have to give anything up. I'm the second player. I'm going to be in charge of scoring, but I have a lower threat range than you. So I need to play in a way that I don't just give shit up, which is very easy to do when you have a trike that can slam some of my stuff over. That's why I racked, Windstorm and Inviolable Resolve, is so that you can't push me around too much. I always seem to think that those Lashers can pull big bases, but it's only equal or smaller. But that definitely influenced some of my decision making over on my right flank or the top of the screen here. So I'm just thinking about how I want to pack this up, spending too much time, given that the obvious opening move is going to be the Animus Corpse Confetti that fuels the entire faction. So here I'm budgeting for the spells that I want to do. I'm realizing that, okay, I can't do Harvest this turn. I'll have to cast Harvest next turn because I really need to ensure that Windstorm, Inviolable Resolve, and the Wild Growth or whatever it is that gets me a tree kind of come out.
It's important to think these things through.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I do have a lot of threat range with Hunter's Mark and Slipstream. I think both the Knights and the Lashers potentially could threaten 16 inches. So taking some time in the tank, I think, is very important on this turn.
Yeah, I just need to make sure that I don't lose something that I don't want to lose. So I activate my caster first. I get those spells out. I put the Rapid Growth up to sort of cut off some of your line of sight there. You can see you kind of measuring out that where can I get Slipstream to see things. For some reason, I'm taking so long in the tank that I'm giving you the opportunity to think about your turn on my turn. So remember, when you are not good on clock, you make your opponent better on clock too.
That's right.
So I move up my Animist. I produce some corpses. I'm moving up my Urson Champion to give Precision Strike so that people can move around freely, keeping him kind of relatively far back. The second Animist is going to go. Remember, I've got to be within 5 inches of the Liegeman Warden, as well as Veroni. And then we pop open Paul to see what's inside. It's more corpses. And then Veroni finds a corpse and puts the rest of its corpse bounty on the Primeval. And then the rest of this turn is really going to figure out how I can do that that dance and balance my threat ranges. One of the more confusing things is where the Starved is going to be. So right here, I just sort of decide, okay, we're going to make a fun little semicircle out of our Bear Cav and challenge you to just come at me, because they're on large bases. They're going to be blocking line of sight to most of my stuff and keeping it safe. And they're going to be armor 20 and armor 22 respectively against melee attacks. So we're kind of forming Fort Kickass here and getting ready to see what happens. Because it definitely didn't look like you're really making a move to spread out on the flanks. All right. And so still just accounting for, trample or walk and shoot threat ranges from the trike, as well as like what possible placements are. We realize that that 50 is actually kind of in an awkward position for you in terms of positioning some stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to activate the Primeval. The Primeval is actually just going to go up into the center of the spear here, right? Or the spearhead, rather.
Flying V.
Quack, quack.
Quack, quack.
And the idea is I can see you behind a forest and you can't see me. So I'm going to play with that threat range. I'm going to keep them just outside of 13 because that would be your trample and snack range. And there's no charge vectors on either side, no direct charge vectors anyway, because of the rapid growth. Then we're going to stack the Starved on the bottom flank there to threaten the trike when it invariably moves up, because it's the only scoring model for that bottom 50. So it's going to have to be there someday. And we can be patient. The rest of it is just, where do I put these idiots who fuel my beasts? And I pass turn to you.
Yeah. So you see me immediately point to the Starved, because that is the model I'm terrified of. The idea of losing either combat action or movement on a gargantuan 31-point model is terrifying to me. So luckily, I think it doesn't threat super far. So I'm measuring out where can I land the trike and still be out of threat range, but scoring or threatening to score that 50 millimeter objective. Looking at this, that Primeval is kind of concerning. You see, you're measuring, if I were to move Lylyth over to slipstream that knight, would it be in the murder death range of the Primeval? My thought is that both my Lashers and my Knights are out of their base 12-inch threat range, so I'll either need a Hunter's Mark or slipstream that front member of the unit in order to get them in to jam up that flying V. But in doing so, I want to make sure that I don't end up getting Lylyth killed, because she has no protection behind that forest from your beasts, because they can all see right through that Tree Walker ability. I'm thinking for a minute, because I'm planning things out under the assumption that I can just feat with Lylyth to shove that Primeval back a couple inches and give me a little bit of breathing room. It's about, I think, 5 minutes into the tank that I realize that you remind me that no, it cannot be pushed. So then I go back in the tank and think, okay, wait, hang on. How do I adjust? How do I adapt? With that, I kind of decide that I need to do Hunter's Mark on one of the bears in order to get the Knights in, and then I can keep Lylyth, I believe, somewhat far back, and this is what I'm measuring right now. If I keep Lylyth out of 11 inches, can I slipstream that Lasher forward to get it in, jamming in, feet, so I get all the bears in my feet range to make him down to Rat 4, and still stay out of the murder death range of that Primeval. I think the math works out. I think we ultimately decide that the only way that's going to be possible is if I get very precise positioning with Lylyth and then burn the repo card to pull her back. She does have that run and gun, but your list does not have a lot of easy targets to trigger that run and gun off of, at least on the table right now.
There are 3 single wound infantry people on the table right now.
So I run Pythia up to get that arc node. I'm doing some Fury math to see which bear should I hit with Hunter's Mark. Do I need to boost? That kind of thing. And this is me kind of demonstrating my lack of clock management quite effectively here. But
this is a masterclass from both of us on that.
Yeah, right. So I determined that final little bear, or the bear calf all the way in the back there, is going to have to be out of my feet range in order for me to not eat a primeval in the middle into the face there. I think this is you now informing me that he cannot be pushed. You're like, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I've got the Inviolable Resolve unit on the top there, and they're laced up with the bottom unit such that those can't be pushed back because of the way that they're kind of curved into each other. Mm-hmm. So I've tried to anchor it as much as possible.
So you see me measuring 8 inches from the primeval with the understanding that then I can repo back 3 inches to stay out of your 11-inch threat range. So I'm just kind of describing what I'm doing here. Oh, yeah. I give up trying to be central. I instead just scooch her forward a little bit, pay 1 for slipstream. I'm well out of that 8 inches, so as long as I repo backwards, I should be able to keep her alive. So I'm in 2 for slipstream, measuring the feet. One of the bears is going to be out, and importantly, your caster is out as well. Because your caster has a pretty significant gun as well, I think. Yeah, just a hair out, unfortunately. So, with that measurement done, that's where I'm not gonna, like, maybe there was a millimeter precise spot where I could have gotten both the caster and out of that 8 inches there of the primeval, but it's not worth it because ultimately the model lies where the model lies when all is said and done. So, I advance her forward. I do my slipstream. Before which you were so generous to let me puppet master Lylyth. She's standing on the proxy right now. I didn't actually move the model yet because I'm going to be repoing it back anyway. Arcing a hunter's mark to one of the bear calf on the right. So now the lasher's up to 2 inches. The bear's hunter's marked, so both my calf and the lashers can get in to jam up those bears. And then spend a couple focus to cast the Force Barrier Animus from the trike onto those lashers with the idea that I think you even left me a little bit of gap on that hill. So not only will they be +2 defense from range effectively from the feet, +2 defense from range from Force Barrier, +2 defense from range from the hill, but they'll also be engaged. So the idea is shooting them off that hill is going to be very difficult. You're going to have to do some melee action for it. And then here's me getting that position because the Hydrix is kind of in the way there. So I don't know if I can get fully straight line back. But then we check it, and yes, we are out of 11 inches of the murder death range from that primeval.
I was very disappointed by that.
That primeval can do a lot of damage if left to its own devices. So I go ahead. I have line of sight to that middle bear in the bottom unit. Charge in the knights. They go ahead. We have Silence of Death up there, so they go up to POW 16, which against armor 20 is not terrible. All right. I hit with the first 2, do some damage. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try and maybe hit this primeval, see what I can do, because they're chain weapons, so they ignore the shield that primeval has. So there's damage on the back one. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take a swing, importantly, into that primeval, ignoring the shield. So I'm only off 2. I hit, and then the damage right there, boom. I rolled a 14 off 2, so that's 12 damage to that primeval. So now my math kind of changes. With that spike there, I go with the lashers. The lashers are going to... repo first the knights, make sure everyone's fully engaged, all jammed up. But then I move in with the lashers. So they are speed 6, they charge 9, but they're 3-inch range. So I go in, have to focus on that charge target first, because I don't have line of sight to the primeval. So I make my first charge attack on that bear, and I quickly realize that arm 22... means my little POW 12s are not going to do much, not even going to scratch the paint. So I switch over and start swinging on the primeval there.
Also ignoring his shield.
Yep, again, another chain weapon ignoring that shield. So I think I'm POW 12 here, 18, so I'm off 6. Mm-hmm. So odds are not great, but you know what? The dice gods smile on me, and I happen to crank some of my damage rolls with the lashers too. And I think we leave that primeval up on like 5 boxes or something like that.
Yep, you did 6 and 7 damage respectively with it. So that's 13 plus the 12 from before. That's 25 damage.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so now that the Primeval is in death range, I repo the Lashers up onto the hill there, and my only other thing I have left that could potentially kill that Primeval is the Hydrix. Now you are engaged, so you go up to def 17. I am rat 6, so I can boost the shot to get in there. Now I'm here trying to stay far away, but you quickly remind me that I can't be in that Dust Devil and Windstorm and still shoot. So I have to scooch him out of the Dust Devil. I'm within 9 inches. I take my boosted rat 6. These are only POW 13s, mind you, but the first one, boost it. And I need 11, and I get an 11. So now I'm off
7.
What am I off? Because I'm POW 13, so I'm off 7, right? Because these do not ignore shields, and sure enough, I roll exactly enough to kill it to the box. So then I get my run and gun, and so now I can just position back within 3 inches, so I'm contesting the objective. I'm in the Dust Devil, so I have the +2 defense against ranged. Most of the bears are at -2 rat, so I'm not super worried about that. I move the Paragon up to get the -3 range on Pythia, thinking that maybe he moves something up to shoot it. The thing has to be way closer now, because Pythia is going to be that -3 range Windstorm effect as well. I walk the trike up, thinking I'll take a couple shots, and then you quickly remind me again about Windstorm. But honestly, I did not want to move the trike up any closer, because that Starved is staring me down right there at the bottom of the table. So I can't really shoot much here. Do I take a shot? No, I get my dice out, ready to make an attack, and you're like, no, -3 range. I'm like, oh, right, yeah, right. So from there, I just, I think I just activate my support and go from there. Oh, right. I run the Vipex up. From there, I don't know what I'm really thinking about here. Oh, right. The Death Dealers, the ambush, that's what it was.
Yeah.
The Death Dealers have to stay out of the shooting range of those guys, because they're range 12 off the edge, right?
Range 10. So they're going to be 13. They're going to be 13-inch threat off the edge.
Off that ambush. Move up my support, keep them out of the cloud, and I'm feeling pretty good right now about going into your turn right here.
Yep. I'm tilted as hell at this point, because I just lost a Primeval off some crazy dice rolls. So I'm trying to figure out how I get through this. Right, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, that's game. I just lost my beast. That was my, POW 20 damage dealer, because it's base 18. I had the 5 corpses on it, and so that would have made it a POW 20. So that was gonna be my guy. Even if I didn't get in threat of the trike, he can pick up a whole unit of those knights on his own, because he's also melee range 2. Whereas Starved and Strict are melee range 1. So my ability to project any sort of damage dealing is now significantly impacted.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna kind of wallow in this for a bit, figuring out if I'm going to throw the Starved up there to just sort of contest on the 50, and get into the Putrid Decay and Gnawing Pain range, and kind of throw it away, which, saying it out loud now, was a train of thought that probably shouldn't have even been entertained. So finally I'm like, okay, I need to be viewing this. How am I going to unpack the rest of my army? How am I going to make it so I can start spreading you out? Because I think at this point, you're not going to have the ability to fight everywhere. I do have 2 relatively strong units that can go wide. So we need to start enabling that. So the real trick to it is going to be just starting that sort of cascade to unlock everything. and slowly accepting the fact that I have to use the starved to unlock stuff, rather than throwing it in, in the first wave, which is like a stupid bad habit that I just really enjoy. It's like smoking. It's not good for me, but I do it, or I did it. But now I'm quitting. I'm quitting throwing my beasts away turn 1. So I just decide, okay, I got to get moving. I get an Animus. I pop a dude. We get Veroni out there to drop some corpses from that dude. I never remove that guy. You'll see me remove him in a second. So then we put the starved out there. We charge the first knight. This is where learning to just dump my corpses for the abilities out the gate is important. So I roll a 6 on damage on the first guy, so I have to buy another attack. At this point, I pay a corpse for the annoying pain. Swing again at the second knight. I think I have to put 2 more hits into him. So it was 2. I had to buy 2 attacks total, and you've got 3 initials to pick up those 2 dudes.
Dang.
Or no, I only bought 1 because I paid 1 for the charge. So right now I have Putrid Decay and Gnawing Pain up on them. And then one of Mike's knights did a crit knockdown. We didn't mark it till late, and then I was like, okay, can I just use my put out the fire? So we pulled that back up. And then here I'm charging in the champion. I activated an Animus first, sacrificed a dude to put Divine Inspiration, charged the champion in or to take out the knight. I think I wound up only doing 6 damage total on the 3 attacks. I didn't get the crit.
Yeah, it lives.
And dice off 6, Divine Inspiration. Tough nut to crack. So
it's a roll better.
Yeah, I know. At this point, I'm just wondering who I offended. And I realized that that's a long list, so we're not going to suss that one out. So I need to figure out another way to do it. So we're going to repo our champion, the 2 inches, because they're only repo 2. And then we're going to send in the goats, because that's the way to do it. So here I'm looking at Pythia as a charge beacon. So I know I don't want to commit any of the bears just yet. I want to save them for like the grand finale. So the goats go in. We're going to say to ourselves, well, at the very least, we can push this dude out of the way because he can't be knocked down. And the first goat hits him and just absolutely levels him. So from here, I'm mildly surprised with myself. And much like the Puppet Master, there's a level of graciousness here. Not that we keep score, because both of us are need to be better players in terms of keeping track of stuff. Right. But you give me a pretty good gimme at this point when we realize that I didn't place my ambushing unit that I had talked about at the beginning of the turn. If we didn't talk about it,
you did mention you were ambushing it. It doesn't affect the play state. It's fine. Yeah.
So if it wasn't mentioned, we wouldn't do it. But it was mentioned explicitly because the whole point is I'm going to go cap that flag and pick up.
You paid me $5. So,
yeah. Yeah, you're cheap. So I know I'm going to be in a good position to just take a quick 2 points with that flag, which is going to put pressure on you also to do things you probably don't want to do.
I don't know why I kept the Death Dealers off that hill. My thought process, well, if I don't want them to die, but it's a hill, so they'd be like Def 15 anyway.
Yeah.
So I could have just put them on the hill contesting, and I would not have hit that scenario point. So that was a bit of a blunder on my part, keeping them out of your threat range rather than keeping them in your threat range and daring you to kill them.
Yeah.
You know?
That happened to be the hill that you wanted to die on. So with
Yep.
with I'm activating Res right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pay for a boosted shot into one of the lashers. You're a casual defense 22, but I'm going to pop feet. That's going to drop you to a defense 20 because of all the random shit that you stacked that we went through earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a rat 6, so I did not roll a 14. And so then we're going to use our remaining fury because I also lucky pennied to cast Harvest and I think Windstorm.
Yeah, I think it was a Windstorm.
Yeah, just to keep the range game honest again. We get the second unit of goats going in because you're -2 defense. Those guys are hitting on 6s, so we send the goats to start clearing stuff out. So goat 1 goes and just pops that dude. Our good shepherd friend is gonna swing his old man staff at the second dude, and that will pop him. The third goat has no one to kill. This makes him very sad because goats need to have something to do. Then we're going to repo a little bit, just nestle in because we're going to kind of start like folding out this this flank. And so with this last dude, we're going to send Strix in. And Strix is going to go ahead and pop him, cast my Animus to move that sweet 7 inches. And so we're going to put that in a relatively intimidating position right in the center there. The good thing about Strix is with that built-in Admo, you can bait in a lot of bad plays or keep yourself safe. Or my other favorite thing is Admo into threat range of a caster after they've already activated. So here we're going to charge in the Ursins. No spoilers, Mike. We're gonna charge in the Ursins at Pythia because I hate her and all my homies hate Pythia, and we're gonna go ahead and make it so we can engage the trike later on as well, and maybe keep one in that unit safe and contesting because the name of the game right now, with being able to get that easy score on the flag at the top there, is going to be contesting the other pieces and making you put yourself in more vulnerable positions with the limited pieces that I have. Both of us have relatively high value pieces. And so trying to manage the trades after forking over 15 points for nothing. So here we go. We're repoing in. We did like mild damage on the Paragon that didn't really matter all that much, and there we're contesting the 50 with that dude behind, and this unit has inviolable resolve on them as well. I moved that over, so now the Urson unit on the top there, we're gonna spread out because now you're gonna have to move into that top 50 or the flag, and I want to be in a position that I can kind of hop on where the threat is, right? I'm probably going to lose 1 or 2 of them, but I want to be able to really at least get 1 or 2 in an impactful spot on the next turn. Then our 1 Warden moves up just to kind of anchor a little bit. I don't know. I have no idea what I would be doing with them. Then I'm going to spread these Liegemen, the ambushing Liegemen hunters. Going to spread them out so that 2 are scoring the flag. Then we pause. I go up 2. Viewers at home might say, oh, you might have been able to go up 3. But I think the beast up at the top was within 3 inches of the objective, so without being able to clear it.
Running ran and gunned up there,
Right.
if you will.
Yep.
The run and gun trigger.
And so I just pass the turn over to you, and let you think about what you've done.
So I went from being so confident at the end of my turn there to now watching this whole army unpack, my jamming units completely destroyed. Turns out, yes, I was def 22 against ranged, but with that res feat going down to def 12 against melee meant that there was no hope of them jamming. He did have to commit melee to that, but with precision strike, he was able to do that perfectly, and now I have bears all over the table. You also notice that he did a great job not putting the entire unit on that flag scenario terrain. So by only putting the front two, I have to... I'm only able to kill those two while still scoring. You know what I mean? I can't take out the entire unit now and then turn inward, right? That's going to be a problem for multiple turns.
It's trickle-in economics.
Yep. So here what I'm doing is I notice that he did line up his bears in a nice little conga line there. So I'm seeing if there's a world that Lylyth can kind of show off her impressive offensive output, get a nice armor-piercing POW 10 spray. And I think we're determining that there's no way I can get all three of them in a line while keeping Lylyth in a reasonably safe spot. So I settle for trying to kill two because my main goal for this turn is I am salivating at the sight of two heavies, two very high value heavies within striking distance of my Khymaerics. The Khymaerics is built to kill heavies, and that's what I want to do. So I'm kind of get a little ahead of myself because I forget all the tricks that Umbrey has. But my plan is unjam the trike, send the trike in on the starved, and maybe also pick up Strix if I get some hot dice. In order to do that, though, I do have to kind of manage some of these support pieces here. Reave in some Fury, send things over. I think I forgot to apparate the Shadowmancers the entire game, like a true Khymaera player.
I think you apparated them first turn.
Okay, that's good. But so I pop Puppet Master on Lylyth because, again, run and gun is a very important thing, so you got to do the Puppet Master first. You don't want to whiff it. Now Lilith's in a bad spot.
I think you also Blessing of the Gods, right? To get through the Inviolable Resolve.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Blessing of the Gods. Yeah, I flipped over that card there. Blessing of the Gods, Puppet Master. I have Future Sight on from the Hydrix, so I can boost after the roll. And I managed to, I believe, pick up both of those bears that were jamming up the trike.
It was very rude.
Get some good damage. Yep. There's that one, and there's the other one. All right. So from there, I put Silence of Death over on the Khymaerics, and then I run and gun away from the Strix. So I get a little bit cocky because I do want to keep the Hydrix in control range. So in case he wants to go deep in on the bears, like over the wall there. I opt for weirdly keeping my caster alive and moving her out of that Strix's threat range. Even though it means that the Hydrix might not be able to get as far, I think it's totally fine.
Strix kills casters. It's like its job. Mm-hmm.
From here, the Paragon walks up because the Vipex got kind of jammed in behind Lylyth and the Paragon. So the Paragon goes up to try and maybe do something. It has crit decap, but as always, I'm just constantly disappointed by the Paragon's offensive output. And, I think it does a little bit of damage, but the Vipex comes in to pick up that last bear. My plan is, so here's, I'm going in. My thought is I charge in, just blow up the Primeval, and get over to the Strix. Now, because of the -2 speed, I do have to charge. I can't just walk up. It's at that moment that you remind me the Strix has admonition.
Bye-bye.
Not only do you move it out of the Trike's melee range, but I think you also move it into right into threat range of my caster there. So that wasn't good, and I need to be better about remembering that. Maybe I could have blocked it in somehow with the Paragon or something, but gosh, admonition is really, really strong. It's also at this point that I remember that goats exist. And so I take my charge attack into the starved, and you immediately sacrifice a goat. So not only did you force me to pay for the charge with res speed, but then when I did have to charge, I don't even get the consolation prize of a boosted damage roll because you just pull that goat out anyway.
Yep, and I just pulled a goat protecting another goat from a shot that you sent to it.
So I look there and I say, oh, there's another goat in range of the starve. So you know what I'll do? I'll take one of my low POW range attacks, try and kill the goat that's in range of the starve. You're like, okay, this goat that wasn't in range of the starved, I'm going to pull that one away to save the goat that is in range. I'm like, God damn it. So I'm just making mistakes left and right here. And I managed, I think, to whiff a little bit. I do have future sight, but with a 1 and a 2, I think I need a 7 to hit. It's not worth boosting that at that point, needing a 4 or higher. I think I just go for buying another, or I think that was maybe one of my lower POW attacks. I do end up hitting with the tail here and giving you a weakened ability. So now you're -2 defense at least. And I can start going into buying some more melee attacks, which I hit. You pull the next goat out. So now you don't have any goats left on the starve. So I buy one more attack here and do a little bit of damage.
And you're -2 damage right now because of the gnawing pain.
Gnawing pain. I get my another attack out, and at this point I remember not only do you have gnawing pain up, but you also have what's it called, where it's the minus fury, right?
The putrid decay, yes.
Yep. So that trike is only fury 3. So we kind of roll back that damage on that last attack, and not only did I not kill 2 heavies like I had planned to, I even kind of screwed over myself by triggering admonition and potentially endangering my caster. So my initial plan on the top of the board was to move in my Hydrix, maybe kill a bear, and then take some shots into the infantry, the ambushing infantry over on the side there. Instead, now I have to move the Hydrix into the Strix to maybe engage it or do a little bit of damage to it and maybe prevent it from just murdering my caster. Fortunately, as you saw there's another goat in range of the Strix, so my charge attack doesn't get to do anything there either. It only has 1 melee initial. It is Fury 4, but it is not looking good right now.
You got Strix down to 8 health and took out its body in that. Yeah.
So that might keep Lylyth alive for a little bit, but I need Strix dead, right? So I make the decision, rather than putting the Death Dealers up to deal with the ambushing unit, I try and buy an extra turn to run the Shadowmancers up there, and the Death Dealers couldn't charge the Strix, but I figured they have Finisher, I can walk them up and just take some attacks, and if they connect, it only has 8 boxes left, I'm, POW 13 Finisher, I might be able to do something there. Plus, I'm low on clock, so the scenario play isn't really going to matter a ton right now. So I'm like, if I can just kill that Strix, then at least I can say something good happened this turn. Instead, I whiff the 2 attacks into there, do no additional damage to the Strix, and now both the Strix and the Starved are very much alive. You go up, you're in a very strong scenario presence, and everything went from high confidence at the beginning of the turn to just bottom level low confidence at the end of my turn here.
Yeah.
This is here committing that, I was out of 2 inches there with that last Death Dealer, so I only was able to get 2 on there to begin with. I think I flip it over to you.
Yep. So now I'm just trying to figure out, okay, where do I need to be accounting wise? I am 1 shy on Fury because I'm really good at this game. And then I just have to upkeep Harvest. So cut Harvest is upkept, and then I decide to push those bears in to clear out the hill. I probably could have gotten more value out of it if I had placed it better, but I was just trying to move fast to keep my scenario position and keep that clock pressure on Mike, because I think at this point he has 2 minutes left.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so I clear the hill. I have 2 bears on there, so we're definitely scoring that. And then I think at this point I've got maybe 10 minutes left. Next video, we will make sure that the clock is well within view. Um, um, we're zeroing it in right now. So here, I think I'm ordering a pizza or something. I don't know. And thinking about things that don't matter and an order of operations of things to ensure that that trike doesn't come to haunt me, because I don't think I can kill it with the starved on its own. But by George, I'm going to try.
Well, interesting with the starve, you don't even need to kill it, right? Because you have Stranglehold. And so because I'm full up on Fury, Stranglehold and Starved stack. So it turns into a very expensive, good-looking paperweight.
Well, technically, you're 4 Fury again until I cast it again, because it is round, right? So here I'm sending a Shepherd in to add a Fury to whatever that guy's name is. Hydrix. Yes.
Yep.
Hail Hydrix. So I smack him, inflict pain, put a Fury on him. Then we move the Urson Champion out, Precision Strike, take a swing, see what happens. Nothing necessarily like super impactful. But we pull one of the Death Dealer guys. So we take those. But more importantly, I can move through my own models. And that's what I need to do, because I shoved Veroni in there as a contesting piece. Because as we all know, Veroni will not die. Not to one model.
That's true.
I think you've put your trike into Veroni twice already, and it's not gone well. Yep. It's always needed a follow.
Not in this game. I've learned my lesson now.
Yeah. In previous games. So I'm going to activate my caster now that you're full up on Fury, because I charged in the other Shepherd on your trike. I'm going to cast my Stranglehold, so you're strangle held. And then I'm going to put the Starved in there. I'm going to Putrid Decay and Gnawing Pain. And so we're just going to... I was going to charge, but then we're going to walk up. Then I'm just going to start smacking. And I think at the end of the day, we're going to get you to, I think, like 7 boxes or something like that on the trike.
Something very low, yeah.
Yeah, but more importantly, I boosted the damage on his face attack, which has the Starve special rule. So you have to forfeit either your normal movement or combat action, and then when you stack that with the Stranglehold, you are a paperweight. So then Strix moves up, tries to do something, but not really anything, but it engages your beast. And I've got a contesting piece on the 50. I'm going to go up to, I think, 7, and you're going to go to 4, meaning you have to score here.
Here we see that because even though you added that 4th Fury when you did the Gnawing Pain, or the other one to drop me back down to Fury 3, that 4th Fury disappears. So then at my turn, when I'm pulling in Fury, it only had 3 Fury on it. Now I pulled that Fury off initially to do Frenzy checks, and I realized, actually, no, I want the Fury on the trike. Because it's a paperweight, the only way it could make an attack this turn is if it frenzies. So I want it to frenzy. So I leave the Fury on, I go to make an attack into the champion there, the Bear Cav, and try and I think I get a frenzy attack into the air. So we realize that when I make that attack, the Silence of Death is actually, I have to make the decision before I make the frenzy attack. So I do make that frenzy attack. I do a whopping, I think, 4 damage to it, because I'm still -2 attack damage from Gnawing Pain. And yeah, so it's not great. From there, Lylyth goes up to try and finish off the Strix. Don't get it. I walk the Hydrix up there, which I think triggers Admonition again.
Yep.
From there, my goal is just not to lose on scenario, so I can test a unit objective there. I run Belgul in there. I pull the Death Dealers back to score the unit objective. Importantly, I run them into the fire, which you let me say I don't run them into the fire, because otherwise I'd have to make fire checks and surely clock out on that. Yep. So I'm not losing on scenario right now, but I am scoring that unit. So, oh wait. You just run Veroni up, contest
Yep.
it, and
I think I have 2 minutes on this turn, so I'm kind of moving fast. I take out Belagul, so now I'm scoring the flag again. I go up 2, you go up 0, or yeah, I go up 2, you go up 0. So now even if we do the clock back and forth, that's the GG.
Man, that was a really fun game. Lots of ups and downs in that one. A lot of mistakes on my part there too, but I think overall it was a lot of fun. A really good game for these two factions here.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. I definitely made some mistakes as well. Learning not just a new faction, but again, I think this was like my second time with Rez. I think with your stuff, Lylyth is just such a hard caster to make work.
Yeah.
Especially when you're going into something that mitigates speed and can mess with some of your line of sight.
High defense, and being able to just completely negate my feet with your feet is didn't really feel good there. No, and like Lylyth, I love her, and like she can do a lot. She has a lot of offensive output. The problem is with only one rack spell, it's really hard for her to support her army. And her feet, while great into a gun line, into any melee focused army, or even with a moderate melee threat, means that her feet is a little bit dead in the water. That 2-inch push, I don't think, is enough to really emphasize our any threat range gain in that regard. While I love the model, I love the sculpt, and I like her personal output, I just wish that she could do a little bit more. Full disclosure, though, I mean, this is coming from a place of losing every single Lylyth game I played with. I think I've lost 10 games in a row now with Lylyth, so it could just be my playstyle doesn't link up with that caster, but...
I have killed 3 other players Lylyth, though, so I'm not finding her super difficult to solve, because you basically just wait until she has to do something, and then she's gonna die.
Yeah.
Like, just invariably.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I mean, overall, though, fun game. It was kind of fun getting back into the groove of recording again, too. So definitely some work to do from lighting and framing, but just happy to be back in the groove of trying to get some content out there.
It's good to be back.
Yes, and rebranded.
That's a good point for the future of this channel, too. We are going to be looping in more members from our local play group in to get videos recorded, to kind of take some of the workload off of us and kind of share it amongst our play group. We have a really solid play group. They're all great players. And so be on the lookout for future videos with some of these newer faces and voices in the mix.
Yeah, super excited that I don't have to do all the editing myself.
Leave a comment if there's a army that you would like, a pairing or something you'd like to see next. Leave a comment asking what you'd like to see. Maybe because we have pretty much every army in our group now, so if there's like a pairing you're really looking to see a video on, drop it in the comments and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, we can definitely make that happen. So really proud of the Chicago group and how it kind of came back after COVID, and really happy to see the enthusiasm for our group in terms of getting these battle reports out. So you should be seeing them kind of trickle out in a much more consistent basis than what we were able to do before as well, when it was just us. Any final thoughts?
Well, yeah, just don't forget to like and subscribe, right? Do we still say that since 2019? I don't know anymore, but if do they have a subscribe button? I don't know.
What occurs in this new world?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But like and subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you in the next video.
Bye.
Wait, do I end with bye or do you? I don't know. Wait.